Don't pick a black and gray artist and go in and be like, I want this full blown color piece. Okay, they're not going to slam that out the park like you're envisioning. Yes, you love that person and you love that person as an individual, but that's not their style.
Right.
Research your artist. Find the best artist to knock that out the park. Like if people come in the shop and they're like, I want thin line lettering, well, I'm not going to give them to Lucas, who's an anime color artist.
Right.
You know,
And it makes me wonder, because I see a lot of those when those are posted on Facebook, and it's just an onslaught of people and artists, and it makes me wonder how many of whether or not this anonymous person that asked the question, how many of those artists do you actually go and research before you choose? Or are you choosing based off of price, which I think 9
that's
times
the big
out of
thing
10,
I say a lot of times. Okay, so I won't cover this up just because this is $100 rose, very simple, very basic shading.
Mm-hmm.
This is a $350 rose, much more grandioso, same artist.
Oh yeah. It's like the horse that starts off like really like high detail photorealism, and then it's just like they run out of money or the budget drains out, or like, hey, can you do this cheaper? And it becomes like a stick figure legs in the back.
Yeah. Exactly. You know.
Hey, you get what you pay for, you know. And... welcome to more Artistry Unearthed. We are Cryptic Tattoo and Social Gallery. I'm native Mammoth Ink.
David.
David.
Yeah.
And with us are very special guests, people that run a huge like titans in the tattoo industry, and at least in the local scene. But it's actually reaching out far further. We have Joe and Anna Bridges of Carnival of Ink.
Hey, folks. I can hear the applause already.
Yeah.
Woo. So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to go over, both individually and together. You guys are a bit of a power couple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
No, you guys are always busy, like always like working on something, and you engage with your community, you know, a lot, and it's very inspiring. It's something that we've been keeping an eye on and keep like, okay, I like what they're doing. I see what they're doing. So it's a huge deal that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time.
We appreciate,
Honor.
being able to be involved with it.
We're just babies, but you know, I've been.
I'll start somewhere. I'll start somewhere.
So I was thinking we would start with you, and then learn a little bit about you, and then what you guys have built together. So first of all, I understand you are a professional piercer.
Yes.
And a tattoo model.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that might answer my.
Does that go to the pro side too?
No, I don't. I started the modeling as a marketing. Sex sells. I'm a girl. If you think I'm cute on Instagram, you might let me stab your face.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
When you come in, it's definitely catfish. You get the white nerdy Anna with the glasses and the bifocals talking about what are we going to stab. When you look at me on Instagram, I have great photographers.
Sure, yeah.
A night and day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's just marketing. That's just business.
I'm the biggest catfish on the internet.
There's a lot of people I hear about, like artists and stuff, that are trying to show one side of them, and it's all about the outreach. It's all about, you know, the marketing of it. And, you know, it's easy to assume, and you get a lot of haters online that are just like, well, if I had boobs, I can do it too. Like, really? Are you sure? But like, there are some people that are just like, yeah, I'm glad I have a great smile. I'm glad I go to the orthodontist on a regular, or I'm glad I got, you know, just because you got to use what tools are available.
I could post pictures of my piercings all day.
Yeah.
They'll get 10, 20 likes.
Post a picture of you modeling and there's 1,000.
And there's a bunch of likes. And then all of a sudden you can post your picture of your actual work afterwards. And then people will say, oh, okay, she's a piercer. And then
She calls it catfishing. I call it just marketing. It's straight up marketing. I mean, it's been this way since the beginning of time.
even Bud Light.
Right?
Does it
Whatever works. I mean,
does it bother you? Does it like? I mean, you've embraced it, but
I've embraced it, yes. And I get it. And I understand. But in a way, I find it sad.
Yeah.
That you have to put a fake facade out there almost to get people's attention. You can't just come as yourself and they accept you and embrace you.
That's
So-
pretty much what you would call newcomers. The people that are fresh to seeing you and knowing what you do. The people who know you already love you.
How many stalkers do you get from that?
Actually, since I blasted the last one and sent his D-pic to his wife and his mom and his daughter, it hasn't happened much. Don't do it to me. I am that girl.
Yeah, she
Right?
is. That's what I love about her. It's like,
It doesn't really happen too much to me. I think I get more hate now than I do pervs. I think I've controlled the perv bases.
So you,
Now
But those are the ones you want to embrace. You want to embrace the haters.
yeah, like,
Always. Those are the best.
so that's how you know you're making it. We don't have haters.
Right? Exactly.
So,
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll get there.
Maybe one day.
I was thinking with that last episode, we would have a whole bunch of haters.
We actually had a rule that we were in our chat and we're blank. It's like, okay,
after
blanket
this
rule.
episode, you might have some.
Hey, that's okay.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm good with
You're
haters.
Exposure.
the biggest one was
Controversy creates dollars.
Yeah.
her suspension video is probably the one that's
Gets me the most,
got her
right?
the most, and that's because there's all the, I guess I could say there's the religious folks.
I've had
Was that what
organized
you were
religious
touching on the other day?
folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Kind
get
of.
a lot of
Kinda
religious
touching?
people telling me that I'm doing Satan's work because I'm.
You know what? We're all doing Satan's work.
Well,
Look at your shirt you're wearing.
Do they not realize that Jesus was the first one to be pierced?
Yeah, I was gonna
Right?
say, like, yeah.
Come on, through his hands and his feet.
Like, have you
He's
read
like
the book?
He's the originator of it.
Right?
Come on, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, that
Those-
dude.
and those weren't
That
like
dude was
surface
suspended.
piercings.
But
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay. I've learned to block it, move on. It's not my energy. It's not my frequency. I don't have time for it. I'm not going to lower my frequency to match your frequency. I'm up here.
Right. I mean, you're doing just fine. Like,
Right?
no, we had a rule. It's like, let's just not entertain the haters. Like, I'm going to secretly, like, personally, I'm going to find it entertaining and kind of funny. But like, the more attention we give them, the more they're going to blast. So it's like, you know, well, like, we want to have discussions. We want people to disagree and we want that perspective.
I had
Like,
a couple
that's,
tattoo artists blast me the other day because I used to do tattoos.
oh
I
yeah.
was mediocre as an apprentice. I was not very good. I'm
But
much better piercer.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
And I get that. That's why I mentioned that to you earlier.
But the one artist that you look him up, he's been tattooing for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those can't tell situations.
Yeah.
How long has he been piercing?
Never.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I looked at his work and I was like, this is the person that's criticizing me. I'm good. And I moved on. So
Do you remember your first tattoo?
yes.
You do?
My personal or one I've given.
Actually,
You
both.
give
I'm
it.
curious
Yeah,
about
Yeah,
both
yeah.
now.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go both.
My first tattoo was the traditional tramp stamp.
Nice.
Had the tribal and a rose in the middle, which is now covered up by a huge Japanese piece.
That's
By the same artist, or?
No,
Oh,
Joey Smith is doing the Japanese back piece.
oh, I see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
First tattoo I ever gave was absolutely dreadful. It was during my apprenticeship in Sedalia. It was rough. It was with a super tight 3, ultra tight 3.
Woo.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Me?
Who were you doing your apprenticeship through?
That was
Up there in
with Chuck
Sedalia.
Nix at Skin Thieves.
Wow.
That's
Are
how
you
far I go
kidding
back.
me?
No.
Oh,
Dude, she got
you
some
and
history.
I,
Yeah.
you and I have something in common.
Oh wow! Okay.
Interesting, because that is where I started my
Apprenticeship.
so-called apprenticeship.
Yeah, it was the so-called apprenticeship. Yes.
That's absolutely how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you and I can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like you go in, here's kind of this, kind of that, and
I have quite
You're
a
on
few
your own.
failed mentors in my story.
You had how many apprenticeships for tattooing?
5.
5, and most of them failed. Was it the last one, or did you ever finish? Like, technically,
No.
Okay.
No.
she
Okay.
just went directly from
Yeah.
tattooing to, you know what, I'm just
Yeah.
going to be a piercer because
what-
it's so much easier.
What was that transition like? Did you just like an opportunity to jump in and?
John came up at me and was like, maybe we should try piercing for a while. And we were really needing another piercer.
Okay.
Next gen, we We have a crazy amount of piercing walk-in traffic. Like,
It's stupid.
So he said, well, let's get you over here and at least you'll start earning money. If you go back to tattooing, so be it. If you stay a piercer, so be it. I've actually taken piercing further. I'm now apprenticing under Eric and Mackenzie with the piercing pirate, walk the plank suspension team.
Is that out of Columbia?
Yeah. So I'm starting to do the human suspension and learning the aspects and the groundwork for that.
That is awesome.
Body mods.
But you definitely discovered yourself in piercing.
Where you're actually doing implants.
Just a piercer.
So where you're doing implants.
Yeah, implants. I want to split tongues. I want to do ears. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's always a cool story.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did the EMT thing.
That's
before even this
that's
industry,
beyond
so.
anything I would ever.
Yeah.
Tongue's interesting. Split. It looks
It's
like a raw
it's
steak.
interesting
I know
because
two people.
the anatomy. I mean, that you got to deal with, but.
I know two people with split tongues, and they were just pierced before, and they were like, they had friends that did it, and they were like, okay, cool, why not? And then they realized like, it's no big deal, or they didn't really think about it, they never considered it
There's
before.
a lot to it, yeah.
But then they're halfway through it, and they're like, oh, this is gonna change my life for like 2 weeks. Like their mouths all swollen and full of stitches and food, you know. And then nowadays they're like, yeah, it's cool. I don't mind that I have it, but like, you know, there's no story that will share that you could really tell somebody of like just the 2 weeks.
I want to know what possesses a person.
It's a liquid
I want to do
diet.
it really bad.
Seriously,
literally,
split.
liquid
Okay,
diet.
so then you tell me what makes you want to do that?
I'm a dirty girl. I want to do dirty things. Split tongue. I'll be real honest.
Okay.
I want to do strange things to him.
Is your tongue split?
Not yet.
No, not
Will
yet.
you-
That's what
okay.
I asked her.
Will you do that before you do it to someone else?
Yes, I will want it done to me first.
Okay.
That's just like a typical tattoo artist. Let me tattoo myself so I understand what it
I'm
is that
putting
I'm.
my client through.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm putting my client through.
Who are you gonna have do it?
I don't know. I haven't found anybody yet that I trust to do it.
Really? Not even Sean?
Mhm.
Sean's been in the business for a minute.
Sean's been doing it for quite a while.
And
He's-
he's got a big
yeah.
reputation.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Ross Fox. He's a Canadian body mod guy. I've been following him a lot. He's pretty cool.
It's another one of those things that it's like I believe you need to mesh with that person because that's an energy that's being transferred from one body to another.
Right. No joke.
And
It's still a spiritual thing. I mean, some people might not look at it that way. Like they might just look at it as a body mod, but no, I'm trusting you with my body and vice
Right.
versa.
Yeah.
it's
it's
a
like
rite
what
of
would Jesus
passage.
do? He trusts the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
And,
really pick
they
your
hung him on the
surgeon.
cross.
I don't think he did, but
You can't pick your surgeon. You just have to
Right,
assume
right,
they know
right,
what they're.
right,
But
right.
this time, it's
Well-
like, no, I can pick him out. I can be friends with him. I can,
I wanna
go
make
party
sure-
with him,
yeah, make sure everything's cool.
yeah.
So yeah.
So you transitioned from tattooing into piercing, and you discovered yourself. You found yourself. So then you've been building a brand. A part of it being your tattoo modeling, but also like your work. How long have you been piercing?
2 years now.
2 years. Very cool.
Yeah.
And
over
you-
2 years.
What can you experience? Like, what can you share about being a tattoo model? Like, how does that work? Do you find photographers? Do they come to you?
A little of both. Morgan Tucker, she's Moon and Coven. She's one of my favorite photographers to shoot with. I pretty much begged her to shoot me the first time, and now we shoot a lot. I love her for my darker horror side. Now that I really do love. I really do love doing that. Boudoir is fun. Definitely empowering, makes you feel super schmexy when you get done.
Yeah.
Candace is my go-to for that. I think over the last couple of years, I think I'm 3-4 years into modeling now. I've narrowed my photographers down. Like I
Okay.
know who I work with.
How
for
many
that.
publications?
How many publications? Over 40 publications.
Wow.
Nice.
Good
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
professional to me.
Yeah.
Good.
Like,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, that's a considered a pro.
I spent my whole childhood trying to draw cartoons for my favorite video games just to get in the kids' corner once, and it never happened.
You know, when you go to Barnes and Noble and you can look on a shelf and there's a magazine that your wife is in, that's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know her. Yeah, we crawled to bed. No big deal.
Yeah, right.
Even that one coming out, I'm especially proud of the next one that's coming out. 247 Ink magazine is doing a feature on me. So not only is it just my
Awesome.
pretty pictures, but it's how I feel. and it's words. And to me, that means more than just printing my pretty picture. Not that I don't agree,
Right.
or
Sure, yeah.
appreciate it. I love
No,
every
they
time I
dig deep. They
publish.
dig deeper
But this is a little
into
deeper. This
your
is
background,
actually,
right?
Yeah, I actually get to tell people about me this time.
Good.
Just a picture.
When you get tattoo work done, do you just get what you want and what you want to show, or do you go into your tattoos with the mindset like, oh, I'm going to show this off, or this is going to get published, or do you take outside ideas and influence of like, we're looking for somebody with like this kind of work? You're like, I got a blank space, or is it pretty much all just you?
It's me.
Good.
Yeah, it's me. It's what I want. It's what I love from an artist. I'll let them do their creative freedom. Like I might come in and be like, I want my Sphinx cat.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'll let them do their style of
Very
my
cool.
Sphinx cat, I guess, would be an example.
Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're good.
All right. Yeah. So that's really interesting. Like the whole story, and this is over the course of about 4 years. You said about 5 years.
For modeling, 4 years.
4 years.
Been in the industry, I'd say 7 or 8 years.
7. All right.
Um,
That's. Yeah, you've made a pretty good dent in a short period of time, I'd say.
Thank
Right?
you.
So
Making waves.
So when did Joe enter the picture? Were you guys
Joe
always together
entered
from the?
picture in 2019. I attended one of his shows as a canvas for Russ Quinn and his shop.
What'd you get from Russ?
I didn't get anything from Russ that show.
Okay.
I competed his rose.
Okay.
But that show, I got this piece from Brooke Daniels, and we competed it. We didn't place, but then we got this that we took second in Best Mandela.
Yeah.
So,
Mandala.
well, yeah.
Hashtag Nelson.
But yeah, we did that. That wasn't exactly planned. It was supposed to have been around the flowers, and while she was laying there doing the flowers, she was like, I got this idea.
That's how it always started.
And you're like the only person I know that could probably have the paint tolerance to do this.
Right.
And I was like, what? And she's like, let me print it in your armpit. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's gonna get in a magazine.
yeah.
It did.
Boom.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Actually, that was that show was covered and featured in the very last issue of Tattoo Magazine.
And I made it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our show was in the very last magazine of Tattoo Magazine, or last issue. of Tattoo Magazine.
Which carnival was that done at? The one in Kansas City?
2000.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was the Embassy Suite ones.
Yeah.
Before I took over Kansas City.
Yeah. But the shirt I'm wearing, 2019.
Yeah, that
Gotcha.
show.
Yeah.
So transitioning over, how long have you been doing the convention scene? Like how long how long does your career, your stretch go back?
As far as tattoo conventions or just conventions in general?
I guess conventions in general.
Yeah,
like
what got you started? What made you want to do that?
Oh, okay. I have a degree in sound theory,
Okay.
and I was a touring sound tech for probably a good 3 or 4 years, and that was it would be from doing commercial systems and with government contracts and military system or military bases, or I would be running sound for In This Moment, or I toured 3 months with a Perfect Circle, Avenue Q. I mean, I've done a lot of that stuff, but also I'm a geek. I mean, I'm really literally a techie, and it goes all the way back to being a person that knows how to solder and could solder really well. Well, guess what? All the tattoo artists hated doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Making
Joe, you want to solder some
Right,
nails for
right.
me?
Yeah,
So trade out, do some of that, get tattoo work. Then you learn about it. And it's really strange because I've built capacitors for machines. I've built power supplies. I've built automation systems. I've built a lot of things for tattoo machines and tattooing, but never once picked up a machine to want to tattoo.
Yeah.
Why? I was never one to have what I thought an artistic ability to sit and draw. Me, I can visualize stuff
Yeah.
and kind of sketch it out, and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever it comes down to the grand scheme of things, I was never because to me, it being on paper was not it's not the final product. So it should
Right.
not have everything in it. That's just a sketch going
Right.
on to the next thing. So with that background, I got to where the first the home shows for HBA's. I did the first 13
Oh
years.
yeah.
First 13 years of them, I was involved with planning and putting booths and layout and everything. And then also doing audio for when they do the staging and stuff. So I mean, I was bouncing around doing all of that, and then I think I can't remember what year, 2012. 2012, something happened in a personal thing happened in my life to someone really close to me, and I had to be nearby. And it was not necessarily a life or death situation. It was that for their security, I needed to be there for them. So I became a full-time dad. And at that time, I lost everything, government contract. I was literally living in a homeless shelter. And when I moved back to Springfield, I had all of this knowledge of all the stuff that I've done. And I couldn't go work a normal, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 job. I got a kid to take care of.
Yeah.
So things kind of changed. And I've always been creative of coming up with something. So I thought, well, let's go downtown. And I went downtown and ran into a local musician who still to this day inspires me. And had a conversation with him about what he felt Springfield needed. And even though Springfield was my hometown, I felt like there was something in the scene that I needed to do. And he said, good promoters that literally will be what they say they are. And he's like, but keep in mind, when you say you are who you say you are, you're going to create enemies. And the reason why is because you're a person who comes out right out the gate with boundaries. And I did. And man, the music's
still happening.
Oh gosh. I'm to the point now where I'm orchestrating it. Literally, I know whenever I do something, what it's going to cause. I know pretty much who's going to say it, what direction. And, being a person who has kind of studied human behavior, you kind of go, all right, well, let them do my work for me.
Okay.
So, you say certain things that trigger people, like we're the longest running tattoo convention in the state of Missouri. That phrase alone pisses off so many people.
Does it?
It does.
I mean, even if it's true?
Even
it's true, right?
True. But some people would feel like, well, it's a stab toward this person. No. I'm standing on my facts. I'm sorry that my facts.
Yeah. It says more about them than you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there again, it's one of those things to where you got to kind of, she made a comment in a live that was kind of funny because I had to message her later and be like, babe, there's a difference between a wizard and a grand wizard. Okay. I like
Gandalf the Grey.
Well, I like to consider myself the guy behind the curtain.
Right.
I don't like to be the person that's in the faces of people because I know what comes along with it. And if I'm trying to push a brand or push something, I'm going to push that brand, but I'm going to push it with me behind a curtain.
Yeah.
And because it's to me, it's a better way of dealing with, what's to come. But, over the years doing conventions, it's kind of, doing those old other types of conventions, it kind of, I thought art, music, everything that I love, let's throw it together, man. Let's throw it together. And, you threw it together and did it work? No. Some things did, some things didn't. So do you learn from it? Yeah, you learned and adapt. The first 3 years of us doing our convention, we had 24 bands play and over 2 days.
That is a festival.
That's
ridiculous.
But here's the thing. Still to this day, there are some of those bands still playing. but when I see them in public, it's like I'm not doing anything for them anymore. So you could see that little shunness.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, well,
you got out of the music. Now it's something
Right,
different for you, and
right.
we mean nothing to you.
Right.
Yes.
And, if you stop and think about it, 3 years, 24 bands each year, that's, what, over 70 some odd bands that have played on a stage, a historic stage.
Yeah.
Right, no,
That no one, I mean, Elvis Presley played on that stage. Frank Sinatra played on that stage. I found Dimebag Darrell's guitar on that stage. Literally found one of his old practice guitars that he got drunk and left behind. To know that that historic stage, we put a lot of locals on that stage that never would have ever played on that stage.
Yeah.
And still to this day, it's a bitter love, because you're in a part of it. You're like, man, I did this to be able to showcase my community, to showcase the people from my community,
Mhm.
and it so easily can be forgotten. And that kind of, as I've transitioned the show over strictly to tattooing and sideshow, it's really put a hardened thing inside me to where when people come along and say things like, they would do better, well, match me or shut the fuck up.
That's
Yeah,
an interesting
I think
thing.
it's because they've taken the music scene here in Springfield is not that great.
I heard it used to be
No,
amazing.
It was phenomenal.
and then
It was
what
phenomenal
you've
in the
taken,
90s.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I
What
came
you-
in too late.
Yeah.
Right.
I came in like 2002,
I
2003.
remember Jewel playing in the parking lot of the Regency Showcase
That's
on a
badass.
stage outside in 92. So to me, that's
yeah,
like,
the 90s was
that's a
different.
big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was before she was who she is now, but
Yeah.
we had some amazing events during those times, but there's a lot of people that are my age that I'll get message from them and they'll be like, hey, did you know the Regency's open up? And it's like, hey, did you know it's not the same motherfucking place
Yeah,
anymore?
yeah.
right? No, it's not. I mean, and it's
Even
not.
the
It's.
scene- it's the
I mean,
scene,
it's a
too.
great. Yeah, it's a great
Everything's
venue,
changed.
but it's. I mean, again, I've always said that. I mean, the stage is too small. It's. Just,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I've seen quite a few shows, good shows there, but
I seen Manson in 95 there and met him. His encore was Sweet Dreams and there was only 50 people in the crowd.
Oh man,
to
yeah.
me,
I
okay,
watched
it's hard
this-
to beat that time
Right,
and era.
right. No, the last show that I think I saw there was Motionless in White, and
Was
it
who?
was Motionless in White and Atreyu, and that was a sold out show. It was just wall to wall people, front to back, side to side,
I hope-
balconies, all of that. Just
I helped book the Mushroom Head show there.
I saw
And I
that show
helped-
too.
and I
that
helped-
was such
no,
a good show.
I helped book it. I helped promote it. I helped put it together and didn't go.
There were so many good shows that
Now-
went through that played the Regency, but it's not. I just the music scene has kind of here in Springfield has taken a back seat,
Yeah.
and you've now watched what you're doing with tattooing kind of take precedence, and it's now the bigger scene than
Right.
Well,
dealing with music.
Going to the direction of tattooing a lot. I've had people go, well, you just kind of fell into that. No, it really kind of,
kind of goes hand in hand.
it goes
does.
hand in hand. It really does. But musicians are divas. I'll be straight up. And
No, yeah, we are.
okay, and tattoo
I mean,
artists are
yeah.
are divas as well. But I've learned something about.
It's a lot of egos.
Yeah, but it doesn't take much to please us either.
Somebody keeps putting them in a room and feeding them alcohol too. So, I mean,
Thanks, Joe.
sorry, but it's to me. I think I connected better with tattoo artists.
That makes sense.
And it's not because I didn't connect with musicians, because I'm a musician
Right.
myself. I played
Mhm.
bass, I sang, I wrote songs. I mean, it's
Well, just even with your sound background.
but
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
But to
absolutely.
me, I didn't feel the appreciation and the love as much as I did with working with tattoo artists.
Yeah.
Tattoo artists, when you do something, they recognize it, they see it, and it is instilled. And then years down the road, something will trigger that, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." They associate with things. Musicians, you can ask them about a show they did 2 weeks ago, and they will not remember where it was because
Right.
So
they
it's
don't
a
even
great-
remember loading out.
It's a great sense of appreciation, and
Right. So to me, it's like you go put your efforts into something that you know others appreciate and that are going to help you flourish, grow too as well. So it's an industry I found that I could grow, and I could grow with the others, and they can grow with me. So
Right.
slowly the network started. We have I have a panel of peers that I talk with, and they are mainly artists that I trust. From John Wallace to Cat Spencer to Joey Smith to Derek Slaughter to Judy Parker. I mean, literally, I've messaged Judy Parker. And if I want to get the brass answer, I message Judy Parker because she does not give me the well. You could think of it like this or this.
Judy's been in it for a minute.
Judy's cutthroat. She's going to be like, why? Well, because it might appease that. Why? Okay, sorry, Judy, for
Right.
messing with your time. No, that's not it. I want you to literally ask yourself, why are you doing it? I mean, when after the 2017 debacle that happened with the judge, there was a couple other things that like we had an ex-girlfriend of somebody that was working this show. We had to escort her out of the show because she was mouthing off to artists that was nearby while she was getting tattooed. So as we're escorting her out, she goes live and with all of her friends on it, and they created a Springfield against Carnival of Ink page. All 40 of them were standing up strong for me. And I messaged Judy because I know she deals with Sturgis. If you're tattooing in Sturgis, she's probably your person that you've talked to. And I've messaged Judy and I've been like, man, how do you handle situations like this? I know you've been in this for a long damn time. How do you handle this? And her answer was, fuck them. And I had to literally go, I'm not going to argue with Judy because why argue with someone who if that's what's worked for her? Guess what? It needs to start working for me. So, I looked at it as, well, okay, those 40 people that were against us, it was just 40 people to clean off on my friend list. They're clearly not going to come to the show.
It's just dead weight.
It's just dead weight. That's energy that if I invest into it, I'll never get back. So, with those things like that, you just kind of go with the punches and figure out, like we the only time that we've ever had to go and do something public was whenever that judge body shamed, the females. And yeah, he was lucky to get out of there alive. So.
Yeah, he was.
And this is something, and I want to talk about Carnival of Ink specifically,
Right.
but like this is something that I've been a part of, like another convention scene.
You just say the name. It's Tremendicon.
Well, it's Tremendicon,
Yeah,
it's VisionCon, MissouriCon a little bit, and we have Archon. There's as Clever Kaiju, we tour around and do a lot of conventions,
Right.
and the ones here locally, we've been a pretty heavy part of it, the inner workings of it, and doing a pop icon, kind of convention for artists and comic book creators and everything. It's a little different than the tattoo conventions.
Right.
Tattoo conventions are basically like Artist Alley, but the whole build, the whole.
Right.
So it's a lot more uplifting for somebody like me, who creates stuff and makes art. But regardless, being on the inside, I do not understand why people want to subject themselves to running such an event.
Industry.
I don't
I
like
don't
envy
do
the
that.
job and the nonsense you
Yes.
guys have to go through.
If you ever go to my Facebook page, you know how we all have our little bios.
Yeah.
Everyone says life is chaos. Well, I always mine is life is chaos. Control the chaos. Pull the strings. Welcome to the shit show. I am the person that chaos. I've came from chaos. I've grew up around chaos. So do I like it? No, I don't like it. But do I know how to maneuver in it? Yes. It is complete chaos from the time that I put my skateboard down and we're going around laying boxes out, from the time that I put my skateboard in my truck and we're driving home. It is complete chaos. I don't know. I've just always been a person to it's like an adrenaline rush.
Oh, I see.
So to me, Monday morning, the only way I can explain going through the show is Monday morning, I feel like I went through the biggest drug binge that I could go through on the weekend, and I'm looking for my dealer on Monday.
Wow.
Because literally, I mean, it's rushes right and left, right and left, to where, you know, Monday, I almost get this emotional crash. And if you ever notice, Monday, I never post anything. I don't wait. I wait until like Tuesday or Wednesday to give my thanks to everyone, because I don't want to get into my emotions. Because I'm literally in my head picking apart everything that went on, what I could have done better.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
You're no different than a tattoo artist.
Right. You know,
We're
so I mean,
doing our own
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean,
Exactly.
It's anytime someone comes along and says, well, I'm going to do a tattoo convention, I'm like, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Good luck, because
I do think it's big enough for more.
oh, it is.
Not-
It is.
not for
The
everybody.
industry grows every day, and I know a lot of people are like, I just wish it would stop growing. Well, the one thing we're going to have to get used to is it's going to grow, and it's going to grow in a direction that most of us don't like, because we live in the world of people wanting to take the shortest path.
right.
And if that's the case, those shortest paths, whenever they get justifications and they get their reward, then it's the whole Pavlov theory. They got their bell, they got their treat. It's now to the next,
Right.
you know, to the next thing that's going to be just as easy. And I would love to say that, you know, it should be as cutthroat as it used to be. But we've all evolved. We're not in the cutthroat world that we used to be. You know, in the 70s, we used to be able to look at each other and do your mama jokes and then slap hands and then be good friends walking off to our class. You can't do that now.
Now you're getting shot.
Now you're no. I mean, you're getting shot, but we live in a whole. I mean, Joey Smith made a post the other day about MySpace. Instantly, I'm like, oh yeah, great. We get to pick our music. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that caught my attention was, you remember the top 10 friends?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Think about how well that would go over in this time and era.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
no. Everybody would
why
take
aren't I in
offense.
your top 10? Well,
Yeah.
That was a thing then. I remember.
no,
But it wasn't exactly somebody that
but
people sought after.
people were not as sensitive then to.
I'm curious now.
Oh yeah, we
social
live in a
media as
different
we
world
are
now.
You know, now it's like we had a police officer escort somebody out of our show that was already banned from doing our show, and it delved into their feelings enough to where they went and tried to go get us all canceled over the mere fact that you were already banned from our show because of behaviors you showed at other shows and our previous shows. So
Family or not.
yeah, and then you want to make a stand, but then yet when you make a stand, you get to sit back and also watch that stand backlash on you.
Right. Well, there's always like two sides to it.
Oh yeah,
And,
no, there's three. There's three.
Oh, three.
One story from each
His,
person
hers,
and
and
the
the
actual truth.
Oh, I see. I was
You
gonna
know.
say I figured, and then there's what the camera sees.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it's shows. I love doing them. I really do. I love the fact that our shows feel like a reunion, a family gathering of sort. I
Right.
hate calling it family gathering because then it makes it sound like we're juggalos, but we're not.
Maybe.
We're just as crazy.
Well, kind of. I mean, you go to your shows and there are staples
Right.
that
Right.
are there that you see on a regular.
Right.
You know, those are the people that will always kind of have your back and always have the show's interest at hand. You know, anytime that they go. You know, because it's always, I think a respect thing.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah. It's almost like it's a tradition for a
Yeah.
lot of people. Like even if they're not so much in the scene, even if they're just kind of doing their own thing, but when Carnival pops up, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there."
And you know that when you go, you're going to see this person.
Right.
You're going to see a Joey. You're going to see, a Tim Richardson. You're going to see Bryn. You're going to see Russ, and all of these people that you always see every single year.
Right,
You know,
right.
these are the staples. These are the ones that are Carnival.
I
Yeah.
like that we're a little bit. We don't have one every weekend. How to say that?
Oh,
We're a little more exclusive.
You don't have 50 shows.
just
No,
wait.
We're not cookie cutters. We're not any more good for tattoos.
I find that we get compared to other shows
And I
that
don't
are
want
cookie
to
cutter,
be
and they're like,
anything that.
this is the way they should be done, and it's like,
That's how they should.
that's
do
how
it.
they should do their things.
Mhm.
We do
You know,
ours a little different.
As you said before, you're not an expo, you're not a convention, you're Carnival of Ink.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if you go by definition, it is a convention. You know, I don't know if many people have been to other types of conventions, but you go to conventions and they're all boothed out.
Mm-hmm.
Different
And
sections.
we're all
and
there
each
with a common interest.
Yeah, and everyone has one
common
common
industry.
interest and common goal, you know? But I hear, well, that's not the way blah, blah, blah does it. Well, when did you sign up for them? You know, with us. That's not how it works.
In my experience,
If
there's
you
been
want that, go to them.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a couple people be offended when I asked for their portfolio. Well, I've been tattooing for 30 years.
That's wonderful.
That's wonderful. I can show you a tattoo of a guy that was sent to me this morning that's been tattooing for 30 years, and I couldn't tell what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
No, and that's a valid point.
I'm going to quote Cat Spencer: "Quality over quantity."
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
No. Okay, Cat's only like 2 years older than me, maybe 3. But at every Springfield show, there's a moment in time where I find myself alone in the back parking lot. You know, no, just by myself back there, just catching a breath. And the next thing I know, I look up and here's Cat Spencer walking toward me. And this is one of those conversations that I'm like, how's this going to go?
It's the dad talk.
No. Most of the time, it is uplifting, and it is something that pulls something out of me that's for the better. Then there's sometimes he'll say something that just, I'm like, you know, our award plaques. Okay, we're in Springfield. I'm already kind of in a bad mood. I've already had a situation that kind of happened, which was the girl smacking the other girl, you know, in the butt.
Cat.
So I'm already having this bad moment, and I'm sitting on the stage, and Cat Spencer comes over to me, leans up, and he's like, "Pretty good turnout, Joe." And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty good turnout." And he's like, "You need to do something about these award plaques. That's some small dick energy."
Pissed him off.
And I went, no. I'm going to be honest with you. A part of me there's a little clog in my head that went, you know, and I could hear, but I know where he's coming from. I could easily be like, "You motherfucker, who the fuck do you think you are? You're in my show talking." I could easily go that direction, but I know it's out of love, and it's our language to each other, you know. And if anything, it inspired me to go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah." You know? And that's when our awards changed to where I was hand making them myself.
Oh yeah.
And then we started putting money up toward the best in show winner. Then we started giving a booth away to the best in show winner for the future or for the next show. Then I'm like, well, that's just not enough. I want a belt. So I'm like, I'm going to take all the best in the show champions and put them together, put it to vote, and that person gets a belt. So then, you know, the next show comes along, Cat comes along. I'm waiting for it. These award plaques are pretty good, Joe. And I'm like, thanks, Cat. Where's my motivation here? You know, you're supposed to motivate.
That's a big dick energy right there, man.
I'll take that for you.
But that's the thing.
We got a
You know,
know.
Cat's one of those people that I can send artwork to. And I don't even have to say who it is. I can send it, and his response back is usually yes or no, and he won't go into detail about it. It's either yes or no. And I, still being the stubborn person I am, I'll send it to yet another person that's on our panel. And, I look for the majority of it. So majority of our show is people that have went through, like she said, people that with that, many years of a portfolio building. If it bothers you for me to ask you for your portfolio to get you approved, it's not because we don't know who you are. It's not because I have to treat you as equal as everybody else. So I want you to wow us with your stuff.
You'd be Paul Booth asking me for a booth. I'm still going to ask you for your portfolio.
It's because I could fill up. I could do a 300 booth show and fill it up with halfway of mediocre artists that are coming in and doing $25 bangers all weekend long. Right. And we can make it be a scab fest if we wanted to. I don't want that. I want to have that moment where I'm standing outside and someone comes up and they're showing me their piece, which I've had this happen. Come outside and they show me their piece and I asked them, who did that? Even though I probably can look at it and tell who's style and whoever. But there's been times that I've asked that question and they were like, I don't remember his name. He's back over in the back corner over here, by here, and you already know who it is. But then yet,
that's what makes you realize.
You go, do you usually come to the Carnival of Ink? Oh, well, this is my first time. So now this person's walking away with a tattoo piece that it's decent, but they're walking away with this piece from a person they don't know who they got it from, rare. But they know where the fuck they were.
It's like for a shop. If you had a weak link in your shop, they're not going to remember that the weakest link gave them that tattoo. They're just going to remember they got it from the shop.
This studio,
exactly,
right?
And it's like...
you want them to remember the person that did it. Ultimately, that's, right. Because that's how you make a name for yourself.
Right, that's how you know you made it.
You want people to go, oh yeah, I got this from so-and-so.
You're going to have clients that price shop. That's just a given. It's the human nature of everybody wanting to do it. I get tired of, this one only cost me $50 and I instantly can go, I know it's one of 3 studios. And if it's here in town, I know it's one of 3 studios. And the moment that they get the first letter out of the person's name, I'm like, oh, that's that Apprentice Factory. Because we have, and it's not just Springfield.
Yeah.
You're
right. No, right.
They're everywhere. And
wait until we post our Apprentice video.
It's the necessary evil because of the fact there's price shoppers everywhere.
Right.
And it's going to happen. And so, if you want that quality, you're just going to have to pick that quality. And that's what we want at our show.
But shitty tattoos are starting to become a thing. People want shitty tattoos. I'm thinking about making it into a category.
And this is the question that I really
tattoo. Here we go.
So Carnival of Ink has been around for a little while, right? 11 years. 11 years. Mm-hmm. And my introduction to it was actually an artist that I palled around with, David Fott, who rest in power.
Oh my gosh!
Here,
look at this.
He passed away.
Okay.
He did all the, people teased him for doing all the sexy girl, pinups and whatnot, and
what a kind heart.
He was a teddy bear. He was a mentor of mine. Whenever I went art full time, he was the one that took me to events that he did. We did like Alamo movie events with together. He was a huge major staple in me like stepping into full-time art. And he took me under his wing. And when we lost him, it was a huge hit.
I have a flyer I'll bring you.
I think I probably already have it.
It's our Carnival of Ink 2013 flyer.
Yeah.
Except for, I don't know what happened, but I told him I just wanted the artwork, not the lettering. I have my graphic people do the lettering. But he decided to do the lettering to match the artwork. And it is 2003.
Oh, really?
So, no, I'm sorry, 2031.
Oh,
so to me, I told him, I said, man, this is great because this tells me in 2031 I have the flyer.
You have the artwork. Yeah.
So it was a
We'll have to hit up Christy and let her know. Like, hey, by the way,
Christy, she's a sweetheart too. And he did I think he did the first 3 or 4 years with us, and progressively the show kind of changed, because the difference between Comic-Con booths and tattoo booths is there's definitely a price difference.
Absolutely.
There has to be,
Yeah.
because you can't take an illustrator artist and expect them to be able to make the money that a tattoo artist
You're
can
absolutely
make.
right.
So there's that little,
Right.
when we transition to, you can't sell all your booths for $250
You're right.
to tattoo artists and expect them to look at your show being a quality show.
But you can't expect somebody like David to charge $200 a print.
Exactly.
And
so,
when he gives away most of his shit. Like
there was a transition to where we lost artists like him and David Frizzell.
David Frizzell, right. Yeah.
David did our 2016
Yep.
image. And when you lose people like that, it's sad, because I always wanted to involve them. I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
want to bring some stuff. We got this, that, but they even seen the transformation of the show going to a different direction.
Right.
Too,
and
so
he always understood that too.
right.
David was just happy to be a part of it.
I didn't get to speak to David in his last years or last year that he was alive. But I did reach out at one time and tell him that, he was an inspiration for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I still have art pieces that we're trying to buy a bigger house because I'm running out of wall space.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't have a lot of space for a lot of that stuff from our music and art days of that. But David, man, what an individual.
I know. Yeah, I hear you. So it's been going on for 11 years, Carnival of Ink. And was it something, and in my experience, a lot of conventions are usually made up of like all those people that you were talking about before, where they're like, well, we would do it this way. I would do it. This is how they need to do it. And they blow smoke and they're pissed off or whatever. So then they bring together their little friends and then they go and start a convention of their own, really just doing the exact same thing they were complaining about every other convention, but it's different because it's for them.
Right.
And then you've reached that point where you're just like, well, then go, you do what you do. Like, and was that hard to disconnect, to be like, no, I mean, obviously what we're doing works.
It's the way I look at the carnival is it's my baby, and I've raised it since it's been created, and it's I could easily sit back and let others control my vision, and it wouldn't be my vision. I would not be happy. I would not be on Monday morning looking for my drug dealer, if that means
right. Yeah, you wouldn't care. Yeah.
It would not be the same. It would not be the same feeling. And I know we live in a world that everybody believes that they could do something better, and that's great. That's what gives us that. I wake up every day wanting to be better. I want to be better than the person I was yesterday, and I want to be a better person than I was 2 years ago. And the way that I do that is I do listen.
Yeah,
I do listen to the artist, and I have some very close ones that I have to differentiate of what is their personal opinion or what is best for my brand. Because everybody's going to, of course, spout out what is their opinion.
Right.
So now you got to look at their opinions, and then you got to look at what's best for my brand. And there's been people that have been like, hey, I believe it should be done this way, and we're going to do our show. I wish them luck. When I say it, it almost sounds sarcastic because I don't think that they see the chess game that I see.
Yeah.
Because doing this for 10, 11 years, the one things, Candy, who's been helping us, she helped me do the floor layout. And as she's literally writing the names down, pulling a folder out and saying a name, I have to literally tell her every reason why this person's over here, because then, now she's got that input to know that, well, when we're coming and loading in, if somebody needs to be moved, she knows that this person can't be moved over here. This person can't be moved over there. And it's not that, you're filling them all full of drama. You just literally go, well, you can't do that because this person and this and this and this, So,
and that's a lot to balance, knowing that you can't put these two people next to each other within eye shot because they'll probably fight, or like,
we always tell everybody keep the drama at the door.
Yeah,
but you can't take the drama that's within these people and dangle it in front of their face and expect them not to
react to it.
Right. Yeah,
they're
that's
going
fair. That's a
but there's been spinoffs of our show, right and left, and good for them.
Yeah.
I've wished them luck. Do I go and do their show? No, I don't want to. And the reason why is because I won't do anything unless it's established for 3 years.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Tremendicon's on its 3rd year. You'll see my face there this year.
Yeah, we'll be there tattooing.
And that's
we were invited back, so we're like, yeah.
To me, once you get that 3rd year under your belt, that's in any business, it's success. So to me, I don't want to put my efforts into helping something grow in its first 3 years.
Right.
Whenever
there's a growing period.
A lot of times those were created because they didn't like me or they didn't like what I did or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I want to see that you can be that successful show in 3 years. Then we'll fuck with you.
And that's valid. I think it's just, they go through that growing period. They had their tantrum in the beginning and but it's just like, no, by 3rd year, they have at least enough under their feet to know like, okay, this is the foundation we're keeping. Right. This is what we're opening to expand on. Right. And that's when they're going to be asking more questions to you than complaining.
Right.
Like they're going to be looking for more input than just output.
And if you ever notice while my show's going on, while judging's going on, you'll see me sitting in an area that I'm usually, tossing paperwork back and forth because I'm the one in my head. I'm making sure that the judges on stage, none of them have somebody that's in their group that's in this category, and so there's constantly stuff that's going on with me, and I'll have people come up to me and try to talk to me about what should be done during those times, and I know that I rub them the wrong way. Because I'm like, well, it's not the time and place. Well, maybe it could have been if you wouldn't have seen it, I was busy.
Yeah.
But the people are close to me. They know that when I'm in that state of mind, just don't talk to me. Let me do my job. And then afterwards, I'm open. I'm an open book. Show me what you think that would be better. And if it would be better, I'll bring it to the group. Me and Anna and Mike, and we'll go have tacos somewhere, and we'll just start throwing these ideas out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we don't do it. So it's a constant growing.
So one of the questions that I've actually been asking, or I've been kicking it around, and when it comes to art competitions, there's reasons I don't join art competitions anymore. I'm usually one of the judges, anyways. But like when it comes to like tattoo conventions and the like, when it comes to categories and choosing categories and choosing your judges. There's a lot of dynamic, a lot of complaining about, a lot of conspiracy that everything's rigged, that the judges are friends with people, or, and usually I think these are more complaints from people that are the losers. I don't know if the winners so much, but some of the winners I know are just like, no, we met up at the bar after a show last night, and they're like, yeah, just come back and reply. And it's like, but like, is there any statement that you could put out there just to kind of lay it to rest, at least with Carnival of Ink? Any like insight on the process and how you pick it and how you roll with your competitions?
Everything's judged off technicalities.
Technical is usually the first thing right off the bat.
That'll get you cut.
Your tattoo facing the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay.
Not in the right category.
Black and gray coming in with opaques. Because opaques are not gray. Gray's a color.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
There's judging is probably one of the things that creates the most drama of the whole show.
Yeah. And
we've went through our phase. Like we had the whole conversation about 2017. It could go one of two ways. It could go really well or really bad. And the whole time I'm up there, I'm trying to keep it flowing and going really bad. The people that believe that the judging is unfair or it is biased, I will say,
Come judge.
no, yeah,
The last
come to the
presentation
show.
I made them judge.
Yeah, come to the show.
They don't like judging now.
Talk to me and tell me
Judging
that you
is
would like
hard.
to help judging. And I will gladly throw you up in the mix of judging. And I can guarantee you after you do 2 categories, you're going to come back and go, I don't want to fucking do that anymore.
Yeah.
I judged one show, and it was in Kansas City because it was just,
I didn't think he should.
the show was
We had to.
saturated with amazing pieces. And
Yeah.
we were having a hard time finding people to judge that did not have association in that category. So I jumped up on a couple of them, and I ended up pissing off my head judge because with his own rule, because they came across, it was a portrait category, came across, and this portrait had half Corey Taylor's normal face, half Corey Taylor in a mask.
Yeah.
This person walks by and shows me, because we want you to show us what that portrait's based off of.
Yeah.
And a portrait tattoo is a tattoo of the portrait. The portrait, you know? It means it's that of that portrait.
Right.
They show me a picture of Corey Taylor, just normal face. No face of the mask.
To reference.
So
Yeah.
You're done.
that was my head judge. He was so pissed off at me. But then whenever I told him, look, if the illustration was brought up, the photo was brought up,
Right.
showing me what I'm judging up against.
Yeah.
You know, these are the rules you guys put in place.
Right.
You know,
No, I mean, it only hit half the
you know,
mark. It was
because the rules that we have in place are usually from the peers, the old peers that we've worked with, and
Yeah.
we've worked over and over again to make it work. You know, and if it didn't work, we adapt and move it to the next show, and that's how it works. So if anyone does have, pay attention, y'all. If anyone has a problem with the way the judging went, I say get involved.
Yeah.
I say jump in and help judge one time, and you'll realize real quick the reason why you feel like somebody's peers is winning. Ask those judges if their peers are winning.
Yeah.
Because right now they're worried about having friends now.
Right. And that's
They're
the thing.
worried-
Put yourself in
they're-
the shoes of someone who has to defend
Yeah,
why they called it.
They're worried about going to the bar later and getting popped in the jaw by somebody who's unstable because
Yeah.
they believe their piece should have won. And believe it or not, that shit happens.
Yeah.
I've seen people literally get popped in the mouth because
Have you thought about bringing in like just outside sources to
I
judge?
have,
To
I
where,
thought
you know,
about
you don't have
judging.
people walking around seeing and people
Yeah.
knowing others
Right.
and
Complete blind.
Yeah. just complete blind judges.
There was a couple of people that I thought about bringing in, but then I found out they're not artists. I really don't want you guys judged by people that aren't artists.
I want you judged by your
Well,
peers.
I mean, no, and I get that. I mean, like you
it's
could
really
contact like
hard.
other outside artists
It's
and go,
really
look, we want you to
hard.
come to our show.
Dave Navarro was booked up. Sorry.
Oh,
It's really hard to find
I mean-
somebody completely new.
He's right here.
oh my gosh.
You might have to shave.
It's really hard to find, say for you, for instance, if you didn't do our shows on a regular basis, but you still have friends that do our shows.
Right. No.
So it's really hard to find an artist that would come in completely neutral and not know anybody or not be able to look at a piece and go, oh, that's David James.
Right.
Oh, you know, or, you know, because some of you artists have a very noticeable style. You can
Right.
tell
No.
people-
And
You hear
that's
that?
what it's
Tim
all
Richardson,
about.
You
hear that?
You walk across the room, you're like, that's
Yeah,
Tim.
I can pick Tim's out of a
Right.
yeah.
It's very
They're talking to you.
hard to find a non-biased outside source.
We
Right.
tried that with
Because
Luck.
even if you're an outside
Right, no,
Right.
exactly.
That was
no.
what we
Especially
tried.
nowadays,
Exactly.
everybody
Still
has
gonna
everyone
know
in their
people
pocket.
there.
Yeah.
You're still going to know their style when it comes across
Right.
that stage.
No, exactly.
It's extremely hard.
The only thing those judges get from me is a plaque that says, you know, guest
Thank
judge.
you.
Or this year we're making them engraving flashlights, handheld flashlights for them.
Oh, nice.
So while they're up there judging, they have a light to go on.
Yeah. That's
So,
good.
I
Especially when
mean-
you get those butthole applications. Like,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, we don't have those judge much anymore.
Yeah.
we had a couple of those, but yeah. Outside sources are great, but I'm also a person who really just wants to work with who we trust within our peers. And if people are getting salty and butthurt over believing that it's biased or their friends are winning or this or that, all I can say is get better.
Right.
Because not just better as an artist, but better as a human. Because
be happy for your friends.
Yeah.
I come, like I said, you're a 70s kid. I'm a 70s kid. It's first or last.
Yep.
You know, I when I played baseball with the Kiwanis Club, I played whenever you didn't get trophies just for showing up.
Yeah.
You got trophies if you won first.
If you won something.
Yeah, if you won something. And you know, the saying, well, you should add third. No, never going to. Don't want to. I mean, as long as there's breath in me, there's not going to be a third place. And I hope you guys carry on that legacy. So
I got you, Ben.
it's instead of being part of the problem, be part of the solution. That would be my answer.
You can either sit around and you can gripe and you can complain about something, or you can push yourself in the mix and try to make it a better situation with suggestions, motivations, join.
Right.
If not, you're just the peanut gallery. Nobody's listening to you.
Yeah, you're part of the problem.
Seriously, all I hear is wah, 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 wah when you talk, because you're not participating in trying to make a decision or trying to make the situation any better or a positive situation.
And that's...
You are a negative.
I put up a minimum of $25,000 to do one of these shows, minimum. And I'm a firm believer that if you really want to me to listen to you and really, really want me to do it your way, match me.
That's a baseline, like management 101.
Right.
That's something that I've learned from my wife is just like, okay, clearly you can identify the problems.
Right.
But what I'm going to start listening to is what ideas you have to solve it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I don't have the time. And it's like, and there's definitely more diplomatic ways to say that, but it's just like, you know.
I try to be diplomatic, but like I said, from my age, it's like, I don't know how to not be, I have a way of saying certain things that she says it and they're like, well, I just don't understand. And I'm like, do you want me to explain it?
Yeah.
Because if I explain it, it's probably going to hurt your feelings. You know, she's like, well, you know, there's some, we could fill that position. And I'm like, you're replaceable. You know what I mean? It's the world we live in. I mean, if you don't like it, somebody else will come along and will, you know, we do a worst tattoo contest for every show.
I might win that one.
We give away $300 to go toward any of our attending artists to fix that issue.
That's a cool one.
I don't know how many times I hear people go, well, $300 isn't enough. Well, then fucking match me. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Well, the point is, if we put up 300, maybe the client puts up 300, then they're going to end up with a very amazing.
That should be a good range. Yeah.
But I also have something else in the works. Should I say it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is
Let
this
it go.
exclusive?
No,
Oh my gosh.
Let it go.
So we'll
This
drop
is the first.
This is the first. This is the drop. So I've started a new sponsorship with a tattoo laser removal company. So they will also start being at the shows, offering removals. So for our worst tattoo contest, you can either pick the money to cover it up, or you can pick
to have it removed.
To remove it.
Yeah. That's going to smell awful.
I know.
Nothing like
Fun
red
fact.
skin.
The
I know,
animal
I've done
hospital
it.
across the street on the far left at the end of the building, just before we came in here, there was a tattoo removal shop.
I know,
Spot
yeah.
in there. And I'm just like, man, our timing
show, I think 3 years ago they did our show, and they thought I guess they thought it was going to boost their business for Springfield. And, you know, we have a cover up category. We kind of strive over. No, that's not laser. Let's cover it up.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, laser tattoo removal is definitely good, you know, for the industry. And I mean, I believe that, you know, lightening up tattoos, it would be helpful.
Unless you had like a blackout only studio.
Right.
Like, I mean.
But
it'd be full of piercers getting blacked out.
This company is coming in and really wanting to be helpful. And that's, to me, that's saying a lot.
Well, people want to feel good about their bodies in one way or the other. And
you
that's
would think.
okay.
No, I mean, you would think that they
Oh,
would
okay.
really care. When you see these worst tattoo entries come in, you're like, I don't know what you're thinking. When people enter these worst tattoo into the worst tattoo contest, what we want is just send us a photo. Just send us the photo. But with the photo, we get the story. And when you get the story, you also get to know who's tattooing in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Right.
There is an artist, and I will spout this name out. Brown. You need to stop fucking tattooing, period.
Oh, yeah, please.
No, please stop. Please fucking stop. You cost me about $900 a year is what you cost me. Because we put this money out to help, and it never fails. Every one of these fucking Kansas City show, oh, it's done in Springfield. This bro. I'm like, what the fuck are you people thinking?
They're not.
I need to back up a little bit.
On a drunken night, they've got brown on speed dial and
bargains.
How often do people like submit to the worst tattoo, but it was submitted by a friend, and they thought like, oh, they had no idea what category they were entered into, and
I do enough research to find out if the tattoo they're entering is theirs.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't.
Maybe it's just my cynicism.
I'll have wives. Well, my husband doesn't have a Facebook. I'm going to enter it for him.
No.
Nah, tell him to get Facebook and be like
That's
the rest
fair.
of us people.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Or quit being an insecure
Yeah.
and let your husband have
Right.
a Facebook.
Or combine it. Put his name and your name. Be one of those
That's a
people.
sure sign of
Yeah.
insecurity when
Yeah.
they're combined
But-
Facebooks.
But
wow.
you know, we wanted to person because we put it out for public vote. And a lot of people were like, well, you guys are just fishing for follows. Who isn't?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Everybody
do we
is.
gain following from it? Yes, we do, because the likes we turn around and convert to follows. And there's I could go on a whole rant of why we do it. But the bottom line is we put money up to be able to help someone feel better about their tattoo. Most of the time, what comes out of it is something that we can share that is an amazing experience.
Right. Yeah.
The portrait
Tim
contest that we
Richardson,
did.
Oh my God, that was,
it was
that was good.
me and
Yeah, I
Tim.
read that backstory.
Yeah, me and Tim
Yeah.
has been doing stuff together
glad
for a
she
long
won.
time, and he wanted to give away $1,000 portrait, and we're like, okay, well, we'll make it be creative in a contest. And this girl that won it, she got a portrait of her baby who passed away, and so Tim nailed it. And it helped with this woman's healing. You could see the difference in the woman's post, okay? From before she got it, from after, you could see the confidence. You could see everything coming out of it that was good. So to me, it's like, that's what the whole thing is about.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to have somebody walk away with an experience. And I'm going to, every tattoo, I believe, should be an experience. And it doesn't necessarily have to have a story, but there's an experience that needs to come from it.
That's why they're in your chair. They're
Right,
in your
right.
chair for that experience.
Right.
Agreed.
Regardless of a backstory, they're there for that experience. And if they tell you why they're there, great. If they don't, then that's their own personal healing.
Yeah.
Do we gain anything from it? Well, my accountant seems to believe we do.
That's none of their business.
It is helpful to a degree, but to me, what comes after the fact is the better of the story.
Right. You're changing people's lives. And
I mean, that's pretty much what when I came back to Springfield, I had this mission in my mind that I was going to be an impact. And from the moment that I started doing the art, music, tattoo shows, and it evolved into what we're doing, I got involved with the community, doing more stuff with the community. There's stuff that I did for the community that I can guarantee you people that's in the tattoo industry has no clue of what I've done.
Yeah.
And it's not my place to really brag about it. It's part.
That's something I'd like to address. When people post things saying what they're doing, their accomplishments, it's not bragging, okay, people? This is not bragging. If you think your friend is bragging or rubbing something in your face,
You were living in Springfield in 2014, right?
you're sharing your accomplishments.
Were you
You know,
were you around whenever
praise
we did the
them.
thing for Haley?
Right,
No, don't be
exactly.
Like, oh,
For
they
who?
just
For
showing
Haley?
off.
No,
No.
Yeah.
that was
How
before.
long have you been in
I came
Springfield?
down in 2017.
I came into Springfield. I was younger. It was probably like late 90s.
Okay, so you were here for the Haley Owens thing.
Oh yeah,
I did
That's
that.
him.
no kidding.
I organized that and got it together, and it was basically off of me taking my son to school and telling me, "You need to do something, Dad, with your friends."
Yeah,
So I went and created a candlelight vigil for my musician friends on Commercial Street.
yeah,
Thought maybe I'll get 100 people to show up. I go and take a nap and wake up. I'm getting a phone call from the mayor going, "We can need an emergency meeting." I'm like, "Why?" You got 3,000 people saying they're going to
Yeah.
be on the street. By the time it was over with, we had 13,000 people.
that was
on
a
that
big
It's
street.
deal.
amazing.
Changed laws.
Like
in the
I have a
state
lot of friends
Missouri.
that own businesses on C Street, and I mean that dude, that's like emblazoned. That's
That-
hell of a
the guy
job,
with the
dude.
bullhorn going up and down
Yeah.
the street. That was me.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
small world.
so-
How about
But
that?
that's the thing, you know. I mean, those kind of a thing. That's what I came back to do. I wanted to make an impact, and every day with the carnival has been nothing but like that.
Yeah.
Is to making an impact. You know, trying to change people's lives and giving something. You know, yeah. There's this show does. You know, there's a show that goes across the United States, and they do wonderful
Yeah.
things, and it's a nice little cookie cutter show. But does it have a family feeling?
Right.
Does it feel like a family reunion? That's what I want. I want people to look forward to coming to those, to be able to, you know, not only network, but to grow and be like, you know, man, look what this person's done. There's this, like Pooh. Over time, in the last 3-4 years, I've seen Pooh grow so much from just, you know, coming to our shows and absorbing other people's
Yeah.
knowledge and stuff. To me, that's what it's all about.
And that's
man.
exactly what me and David have been talking about since we first started kicking around the idea of doing this. It's like, yeah, we could just be a tattoo shop. We could be, you know, a studio. We could be, you know, and we wanted to push the art education stuff that I do with Clever Kaiju,
Right.
the other business that I own. And it's like, but we wanted to do something more than just be like another group of artists in their holes, you know, just drawing on people. Like we wanted to like leave an impact and leave an influence. Like we have a lot of experience in so many different genres and so many different realms that we can teach people. We can
Right.
like be a part. We can learn from even more. And it's like there's a much bigger scene that we want to grow and be an impact on. And you know, the fact is we're not going to be able to tattoo
And you guys-
art until we're
I'd rather
100.
be
100
chewed
years
up and
old,
spit
yeah, I
out
wanna be
by
able
the
to do
industry
something.
Right.
and never
You guys,
Right.
and we're in Springfield. We're in a drop in the bucket
Right.
compared to
Mhm.
what's out there. You know,
So we're wanting to grow, and you guys, we've been
I-
really impressed with everything you've been doing. And
I had a local DJ tell me a long time ago when I first started, because I went from nobody really. I mean, I had a lot of people I knew here, but it went from nobody to, you know, everybody knowing me. And she said, you know, it's good to be a big fish in a little pond.
yeah,
She's
Mhm.
like, but sometimes those fish want they want to see things, they want to experience things, and the only way they can do it is get out of that little pond.
right.
And I told myself, okay, well then I can no longer be Springfield. I need to be more. So we've branched and we've hit Missouri now, or you know, we're looking at stretching out beyond. You know, that magazine. You know how awesome it is to know that somebody in New Zealand sitting on their toilet reading your magazine.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, I have a coffee
seriously.
table book that's reached, you know, the Philippines that people are sitting there on the toilet reading a comic strip. That
Bro, I mean, think about that. You
Like, I
know?
don't care if it's next to your toilet. That's fine.
That's the things that resonate in my mind whenever I hear people. Well, you shouldn't do what you do. What?
Then why are
Impact
we so
the
good
world?
at it?
Yeah.
Right?
Why are
You
we
know?
so good at it?
Yeah.
then?
I
You
mean,
know,
that's
Eat a
like
dick.
tattooing somebody in the military. Is you lay down a tattoo, and off they go, and they're going to Korea.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, wow, my tattoo's in Korea. You know how many people are probably looking at that, going,
Dude, I
"Oh,
went
that's a
to-
cool. Where did you get that done? Oh, I got that done in the States."
I went to Puerto Rico and rubbed elbows with international greats,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
bro.
Casually.
And it wasn't because of my efforts. It's because I invested into someone and watched them grow to the point to where that person rewarded me by taking me to Puerto Rico.
Right there, you
Mm.
go.
You know, what do you get when you invest in people?
you get back what you put
you
in.
get what you
Right.
put in. And you
And
know,
so
so
Tim and my best friend.
oh man, it was, and you know, I got to see another show. Okay, because I'll be honest with you, when I started doing my shows, I never went to any other tattoo convention. I've been to cons. I've
Yeah.
been to a lot of other stuff, but tattoo conventions never went to. And when her and I first started dating, I told her, I said, one of these days, I'm gonna be one of those big dogs. I'm gonna be
Like,
one
what
of
are you
those big
talking
people.
about?
She's like, what? Yeah, she's like, what are you talking about? So she takes me
Like,
to.
come, let's go.
She takes me to one, and I walk in.
Which one did you go to?
Do you really want to know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll spill the beans. I took him to Villains.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I walked in, and now I'm not here to bash any other brand. I'm just going to be like straight up and be like, I'm not intimidated by you anymore. Because I walk in
That's why I wanted
and
him to
I
see. It's so
look
different.
and I'm like,
You're just
wow.
as big.
the
It's
only
fine.
thing difference is they've got a lift and they put banners up. Okay, all right, now I know what to do. And that's one
I need to
reason
get a
why
lift and
I
put
did
banners
not.
up.
That's the reason why I did not go to shows before, because I didn't want to pick up anybody else.
Yeah, you didn't want. Yeah, you didn't want to
So
like.
yeah,
You didn't want
already
to soil your
established. Yeah,
vision.
we're already established. So we're, her and I are freshly dating. We go to this show, and she goes and enters in a piece for Joey Smith, and I got to see how that judging went. I literally, while she's getting tattooed, I told her, I'm like, I'm gonna go blend in.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go blend in.
Mhm.
I'm not even wearing any Carnival of Ink shit. I'm gonna blend in. I made it halfway down a row.
and
And somebody's like, hey, let me get a photo with you. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like, I told Anna, I was like, look, I don't want Troy to sit here and think that I'm in here scalping artists. I'm not in here scalping vendors.
Yeah.
I'm here literally as an attendee to see this show. I got to meet Al Affliction. It's the very first day I met Bryn Beer. And there was so many people there that I knew. And then I also had so many people be like, hey, I need to talk to you about a booth. And I'm like, yeah, not today.
This isn't the time.
We're not here for that. I might happen to have a form with me, but no. It was, but walking away from it, we're driving back home, and I'm literally just quiet in my head, and she's like, you're not scared anymore, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm not scared at all.
I needed him to see.
And then going to Puerto Rico, I'm expecting to go into this huge ass, international show with artists from all over the world. I'm still intimidated.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just
Sure.
still feel intimidated. I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm just going to go walk around and blend in. That didn't work. Even in Puerto Rico, I had people that I ran into that I
Right
knew
on.
there. So, and then, I'm looking at, I'm doing what I'm watching them do, what I do at the show. I'm watching the PowerPoint people, and I'm watching this person talk to this person and this, and how it's all flowing around, and their judging's a little different than ours, which that's okay. I mean, everybody's judging's different, but I'm no longer intimidated by anyone else, because I know what we have, and I know
Yeah.
what we can do, and I know without a doubt that even though the year starts off slow for the Springfield booth sales, I know that I can sell out the Springfield show in 2 months. Why? Because I've done it for 6 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't get scared of that. I know that if we keep doing what we do, we're going to grow, and by knowing that, I see new faces.
Yeah.
And I know that there's going to be some that are going to dwindle off and go and, because they're in this feeling or this emotion, or they believe that or whatever. And that's okay. You go and do that. Just make sure that your disrespect will be matched when you come back. Because,
Okay, yeah. All right.
because don't go and say things that's going to jeopardize you to come back.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the way I always tell everybody. I'm like, look, I know that people are going to expand their wings and they're going to grow and they're going to do things, but don't look at me as, you could treat me as that stepping stone, but don't look at me as that I'm nothing because I was part of your group.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Just keep it in
You
perspective.
know,
Yeah.
and just be real, be human. And few that we've had to block on Facebook because they just, in their opinion, they believe this, that, or whatever, and they're still, doing the same thing that they were doing 3 years ago, and we're doing St. Charles. We're doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, then
we
that's
got-
a good segment, just out of paranoia because I'm afraid of the camera. But yeah, let's talk about like what is next for Carnival of Ink. Like, let's plug everything and anything and everything you're working on. Anything that you want to talk about.
The magazine will be going through a transformation. I still will have the physical for the collectors, because I know people still like to collect those magazines. The digital will be there, but we're going a little bit more interactive. I'm going to utilize my YouTube a little bit more and utilize the website a little bit more. We're in the process of building an app for the show.
Very cool.
Which will allow clients, artists. It's going to be literally a hub for everybody to be able to connect
I want it
more.
to be like Ticketmaster too. When you pay for your booth, then you get to pick your booth. You get to pick your seat.
Pick your spot.
Yeah,
The sooner you pay, probably the better.
it's
spot
going to be
you're
a
gonna
chess
get.
game. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like y'all think
But
you
you're
play
putting the
that.
pieces in their hands.
That's
but-
right.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Are you
interesting.
sitting next to your enemy? I'm sorry, you picked that.
You
If-
pick
Yeah.
that.
But I will be that person that if I do see something that's going to be problematic, I will address it and be like, look, let's figure out a different alternative for you guys, because my job as a ringmaster is literally to keep the drama out the door. And that seems to be like almost the impossible task, but it is definitely something that you need to prevent from being contagious.
Yeah.
Anna's got, I don't know, this woman, I will put it to you this way. I don't know what my schedule is. She does.
Okay.
So if you ever notice when this got scheduled,
Yeah.
it was scheduled through her, because I every day I try my best to do what I normally been wanting to do. Work at home in my boxers.
Yeah.
And I do quite well with that.
You have Carnival of Ink coming up in April here in Springfield, right?
We have it in April.
And that date has recently changed.
It was 420 weekend, but we declined sharing the building with the Jehovah Witnesses.
Okay.
I feel like that's going to be a very good match.
Yeah, no, and that's just you playing ahead. It's
That's me being the bigger person and going, no.
so that date was pushed back
The
to
next weekend.
Yeah,
The next
April
weekend.
26th.
the 27th. Okay. And then you have other conventions happening in other states now. Like you're branching out quite a bit now. right?
Kansas is on hold until Kansas does what they're supposed to do.
That's right.
KBOC at what is it at ks.gov. Let them know. She's doing Kansas and trying to change laws in that. So right now that's postponed until they fulfill that obligation. We have St. Charles in August, which is her birthday. And then we have Lake of the Ozarks, which we're bringing back, which is an invitational. And we've partnered up with the creators and organizers of Bike Fest. So now our location of where we're doing it is biker friendly. And a lot of the bikers will be checking in at that spot. So
Very cool.
Good deal.
Yeah, right on. Do you have any other questions, or we
No.
okay? Well, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all your time, and all,
problem.
we're really impressed with
okay?
all the work that you're doing.
I don't know. This is just a migraine.
Yeah, I mean, you've been directly facing the light this whole time, but anyways, yeah,
We'll definitely have to have you guys back for sure.
we'll
Yeah.
gladly come back and talk a little bit more. I mean, I know there's so much stuff that you guys would like to address, and there's more that we'd like to address too. And I like this direction that you guys are going because it's very informative.
yeah. Thanks.
Oh, and one other thing, right quick. Where can people get tickets for these shows?
Stub wire.
Stubwire. You can also go to carnivalofink.com. Every show event has all the show information listing with every bit of the award categories, ticket links, load in information. Our website's becoming a lot more informative than before.
And I will, as always, be personally street teaming the week before.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, Springfield, we're about to dump off 2,000 comp
Comp
tickets.
Sweet.
Nice.
Actually,
Sweet.
we're dropping some off to y'all too, so you get to
Pretty good.
fun with it.
People just be looking. You're gonna have to do some crazy stuff for some
Again,
tickets.
thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
we
I
really value your
appreciate it.
time. And yeah, so yeah, Carnival of Ink.
Yeah.
Woo!